Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Madam Asma. My name is Hani Sofia binti Kamur Zaman from Class C of Management Accounting 1. Today, my group, which is ERNST and Young Group, is going to present to you why activity-based costing is still tagging behind the traditional costing in Malaysia. Our presentation today will be conducted by me, myself, Hani Sofia, Nur Ani Shahira, Sharifatul Zaida and Nurul Ain Hamizah. Our presentations highlights on activity-based costing method, traditional costing method, advantages and disadvantages of activity-based costing method, advantages and disadvantages of traditional costing method, and lastly, the reasons why activity-based costing is still tagging behind the traditional costing in Malaysia. I'll begin my presentation by explaining to you what activity-based costing is actually about and how it works. Activity-based costing can be considered as an alternative model to traditional costing as its approach is trying to allocate overhead costs to cost objects more precise than traditional costing. Activity-based costing looks at what was done in terms of activities. It calculates the cost objects based on the actual performance of activities and the resources used by the products. So, the cost is designated to activities based on the resources they use for processing. The attribute of activity-based costing is that it does not vary with volume. However, it may differ with some other measure of activity. Activity-based costing recognizes the activities that cause costs. Activity-based costing uses more cost pool and more cost drivers compared to traditional costing. By classifying the work activities and its cost in relation to performing a process, a comprehensible picture of the total cost of a process becomes transparent when the individual costs are added. Thus, ABC costing methods creates a far-reaching use of cost and effective cost allocation with high level of precision and low cost of errors. Now, I'll be explaining the steps to implement ABC system. First, you need to identify and classify the activities. Next, you need to estimate the cost for the whole activities. After that, you need to compute for the cost driver rate. And lastly, you need to apply the activity cost using cost driver. Now, I'll be explaining about traditional costing method. Traditional costing method only uses unit level drivers to assign cost to products. The cost allocation in traditional costing that was based on unit level drivers like labor hours or machine hours are associated with indirect and keep-up activities. This causes difficulty to reveal the actual costs and effective relationships between indirect costs and individual products. In traditional costing, there is a certain amount of estimation in cost allocation. This cost system do not focus on why or where costs occurred, as traditional costing only look at what was spent. Generally, there is little insight into the causes of variances. In conclusion, traditional costing is simplistic, inexpensive to manage, making widespread use of arbitrary cost allocations, comprising of low-level accuracy with high cost of error. The steps to implement the traditional costing method is first, you need to identify the indirect cost. Second, you need to estimate the indirect cost. Third, you need to choose the cost driver. Next, you need to estimate the value for cost drivers. After that, you need to compute the overhead rate. And lastly, you need to apply the overhead rate. So, that is all from me. Thank you. I'll pass the presentation to the next presenter.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ani Shahira binti Aziz. My metric number is 273656. I'll be talking about the advantages and the disadvantages of activity-based costing. So let's get started. First, let's take a look at the advantages of activity-based costing. So what are the advantages of activity-based costing? First, ABC gives more accurate cost estimation method. ABC help managers to become aware of original parameters that created demands on the indirect and keep up resources which can identify and remove non-value adding activities. By completely eliminating a non-value activity, ABC also can take out costs. Next, ABC can also increase organizational efficiency and profitability. This is done by identifying the weak product lines and accurate costs. ABC also increases operational performance by allocating overhead costs based on the actual consumption of the resources by each activity. It provides much better insight into what drives overhead costs so that it can be controlled to avoid excessive costs. The process of activity-based costing will be able to identify the non-value-added activities. Thus, this will help in the proper allocation of resources of profitable activities. Lastly, by using ABC, decisions about improving non-manufacturing costs such as pricing, marketing, product designing, and product mix can be made more efficiently. As ABC provides a more accurate cost per unit, it enables the management to see where the most important costs occur as well as what provides them. Thus, it helps to determine which processes are doing well and which ones need improvement. Next, let's take a look at the disadvantages of activity-based costing. One of the disadvantages of ABC is that ABC system is more costly to maintain than a traditional costing system. In Malaysia, the increased cost of identifying multiple activities and applying large amount of cost drivers deterred many organizations from using activity-based costing. It is advisable that if the cost of ABC exceeded the benefits, companies should not apply the system. If so, the capital expenditure on the activity-based system and its subsequent running costs can be a roadblock for firms. Next, activity-based costing implementation provided beneficial results only under specific conditions. Why I say so, it is because ABC has different levels of utility for different organizations, such as a large manufacturing firm can use it more usefully than the smaller firms. Also, it is likely that firms that depend on cost plus pricing can take advantages from ABC as it gives accurate product costs. But those who use market-based price may not favor ABC. Other than that, the level of technology and manufacturing environment prevailing in different firms also affect the application of ABC. Lastly, the implementation process of ABC system is very complex for managers to understand. This is because ABC produces numerous data, activity measures, and requires collecting as well as checking process. And because of the complexity of the process, the decision-making process becomes lengthy and more time-consuming. So, this is the summary of the advantages and the disadvantages of activity-based costing that has been discussed just now. Next, we will take a look at the advantages and the disadvantages of traditional costing method that will be presented by the next presenter, Zaida. That's all from me. Thank you for listening.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syarifatul Zaida binti Zainal Abidin, metric number 273752. So today, I would like to present to you the advantages and disadvantages of the traditional costing method. So, let's take a look on the advantages first. Simple and easy to implement is the first advantage of traditional costing method. Traditional costing method is known for its simplicity. This is because it only needs one cost driver to be applied to the entire system. Opposite to the traditional costing method, that is activity-based costing, it needs multiple rates to be applied to the production activity. Next, not expensive. There are no fancy calculation or forms required to determine the average overhead cost under this method. All you have to do is multiply the amount of time taken for goods production with the average rate of the cost driver selected to create the saleable goods and services. Suitable for external report. One of the strong reasons why Malaysia's company is still preferring traditional costing because it is suitable in preparing external report. The report generated is much more easier to read and understand because it puts everything into dollars and cents category. investors is able to understand some of the basic of a company's financial picture. Opposite to activity-based costing, it cannot be accurately used because of the multiple rates involved. Now, let's discuss about the disadvantages. First, it is less accurate. Traditional costing may work when there are a handful of products being manufactured with low overhead costs, but in some way, it does not offer the same accuracy when trying to look at the actual expenses that are incurred by an organization. Next, it is not relevant in dynamic changing environment. This is because it is based on assumptions of long production runs of a standard product with a static specification. The last one, it does not account for non-manufacturing costs. When we look at the cost of production today, there are numerous costs that need to be paid but not applied to the production cycle under this method. Marketing, sales, or outreach costs is not considered to be part of production because it incurred after the manufacturing process. The failure to analyze these costs is one of the greatest weaknesses of traditional costing method. So, that is all for advantages and disadvantages of traditional costing method. If you have any question, feel free to ask me now. If there's no question, I will pass to the next presenter. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum to Madam Asma. Today, my group will present to you in this video about an article regarding to activity-based costing, ABC costing. So I'm the last presenter of the group that will also conclude about this article. Before we go further in this article, let me introduce to you myself. My name is Nurul Ain Haniza binti Muhammad Halim and my metric is 273658. Today, the part that I would like to share to you is 7 pitfalls of activity-based costing. What does it mean by pitfall? Pitfall can be interpreted as a hidden or unexpected danger or difficulty. As you can see, even though there's a lot of advantages using this activity-based costing, still behind it, there's still a lot of hidden unexpected danger that we should acknowledge it before applying this costing system. Okay, the first pitfalls of activity-based costing is spend too much time, money and efforts on gathering and going over the data. Because why is it needs a lot of time, money and efforts rather than the other costing is because there's too much detail that we need to focus in activity-based costing. Since the name itself is activity-based costing, so we need to very particular about each of the activity in producing the product. Let's imagine how about a company that produces a lot of product. So they need to calculate each and every activity on get the product to be ready. Since it need a lot of detail, the other pitfall is there will be insufficient data since if we are lack of detail. Okay, the next pitfall is institution of accounting need to keep on renewing and improving the structure of this activity-based costing. So, a company that implement this ABC costing need to keep on alerts about the improvement from time to time. Besides that, they actually require a level of exactness to calculate this costing, which actually it's kind of difficult to attain. The second last pitfall is actually manager tend to overlook the sums activity and the cost that is associated in a product. This if you fail to notice this cost and you do not include the cost into the calculation, the cost you are calculating is not the actual cost. The last pitfall is actually ABC costing software is actually very pricey. It's really expensive to have this software in your company. As the conclusion, I think maybe the reason of all these pitfalls maybe being the reason why the company in Malaysia are still using the traditional base costing. They are taking into account all the possibility that will arise if they are changing from traditional to activity ABC costing. What I would like to say here is, it's not these two costing is involves in calculating the cost of a product. We can still use something like first in first out, LIFO, the last in first out, and also JIT, just in time costing system. For me, hope you enjoy watching our group presenting about article regarding the activity based costings. Thank you.